Welcome to the NREP Daily right here on the National Real Estate Post. I have another National Association of Mortgage Brokers update for us this week, or a NAMB update. And this week we did want to talk about something that it's really an important conversation. And Rocky, I know there's going to be people on both sides of this coin. I, for one, lean toward the NAMB side on this one for sure. And what we want to talk about today, guys, is trigger leads, right? Trigger leads, which is, you have a consumer, they apply for a mortgage loan from you as an originator, and the credit bureaus get that inquiry and then sell that customer's information to other lenders so that those other lenders can call your borrower and try and steal them from you. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And so we do have people on both sides of the coin. We got lenders who don't participate in this, and brokers and loan officers and loan companies that don't participate in this as far as buying them. And so they're like, hey, this is BS, and it's an invasion of privacy, and it's the kind of thing where, these consumers didn't opt into this, so it's not fair. But then you got lenders who feel like, well, hey, I'm buying into it because I want to get that business, or I want to be notified when my deal's being paid off, or something like that. Real quick, Rocky, your thoughts on this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, our point of view kind of is that it does a disservice to the consumer. I mean, obviously, if you purchase trigger leads, you're right there in the battle, and you go it, and hopefully you do it the right way. But what happens a lot of times is the borrowers are confused as to who's calling them. I mean, it goes back to, I remember back in, this goes on as far back as the early 2000s. When the first refi boom went through, it was about 2001, 2002. And I'd have borrowers come in and fill out applications, and the next day they'd get a FedEx package in the mail from Wells Fargo saying, here is your loan documents. And they would call me up and they go, are these from you? And I would go, no, those are not from me. So, I mean, they try to capitalize on the confusion of the consumer, and, they attempt to get there first, which is, speed and competition is good for everyone, which is kind of the court's ruling on this, was that competition is good for the consumer, but confusion is not good for the consumer. And I think it confuses them even more in the case of like reverse mortgages. Now you have some, elderly consumers, and they get triggered for a reverse mortgage lead. And I know for a fact that that's one of the number one ways that people get their leads for reverse mortgages is through purchasing trigger leads. And those customers, aren't aware of what's going on as much. Their information is being sold to people that they don't even know. And they're confused about who's calling them, why they're calling them, and it may just push them off altogether from getting a reverse mortgage, which may actually help them. So, and to a lesser degree, the same thing happens with forward mortgage.
Well, it's, and you say to a lesser degree, but I hear it all the time. I mean, I'm in contact with a lot of originators, and I hear it all the time where, they're doing a deal and they get called, these consumers get called by other lenders and then start grinding them on, well, what's your program? What are you getting? Well, what's the rate you're getting? And for me personally, hey, I'm a consumer too. We're all consumers too, right? And on my end, I don't think it's right. I don't. If I didn't opt into that, I do not believe it's fair for a credit reporting agency to sell off my information. You know what I mean? To another mortgage entity, to have them start spamming in on me, right? Start calling me. I didn't authorize the call. I didn't authorize anything. And now I'm getting bombarded with, other loan companies trying to figure out what's going on. I do not believe it's right. I can't believe that a judge ruled in favor of it anywhere. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't believe the CFPB is not involved in this, saying, no, this is horse crap, because they're supposed to be the consumer, right? Financial Protection Bureau. And this is protecting the consumer. They should not be a target. When somebody originates a loan and runs a credit report, the consumer of that should not become a target now to the highest bidders, if you will, not necessarily, but not like that, but essentially become a target to these, to other people buying that and then attacking these consumers. I think it's BS. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, and especially because who knows where they're sending this information to overseas call centers. I mean, they're sending your personal information over there. But it was the consumer associations that were the ones that thought this was pro-consumers. They were saying, this was back in about 2008, 2009. They say brokers don't want this because they don't want your consumer exposed to getting a better rate. And so that was the idea, was that it was better for competition. But they're also sowing confusion. I mean, if you do a justice competition and say, do you mind? Can I give you another quote? I mean, that's fair competition. I think everybody's okay with that, though it's not necessarily the best way to do it. But they come out there and they say, oh, well, they can't do that. They're just quoting you a rate to get you in. You know what I mean? Is they're saying that whatever you've offered them, they go, how do they do that without charging you points? They can't give you that rate, and so they're sowing discontent and confusion in the consumer. It damages existing relationships as well as exposing personal information. So yeah, it's not a good thing.
Okay, so there is a bill that's in place to put a stop to this, right?
Yeah, Lacy Clay, Congressman Lacy Clay is coming out with a bill to do exactly what you said, offer the opportunity for consumers to opt into this if they want competition, if they want to get other options in, but that unless you actually choose to opt in, that your information will not be shared, which kind of is the way it should be, I think. And I'm guessing you are also.
Oh, completely. No, I think that for me as a consumer, I would want that. I don't want people just blowing me up. You know what I mean? Because I started a loan application somewhere. So this is in place. Also, I'm going to put there's a link. Click on the NAMB banner that you see, the NAMB logo that you see here on the screen, guys, right down below. If you click on that NAMB logo down below, it's going to take it to the Action Center, to the specific call to action that you can sign it. You guys already know now how easy this is to get done with NAMB, right? I mean, just go in there, click a button or two, and you're done. And the request to have this bill pushed through automatically goes to all of your representatives. A very, very simple thing to do. So I would say if you're on, I would say our side of the fence on this, where you don't believe that it's fair that as consumers, our information can get sold off to these mortgage companies just because we inquired about a loan. If you don't think that's fair and that we should have the right to opt into that as a consumer, then click that NAMB logo right down below and fill out the call to action and get it done. It takes just a couple of clicks. And also, I would like to have a discussion about it. I would like to know, maybe you're on the other side of the fence. Maybe you don't agree with us. And so let's start that conversation down below in the comments, because I would like to see where this conversation goes. So I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at on this thing. I know that NAMB has been kind of leading the charge on this for some time. When did NAMB start working with Lacy Clay on this matter?
Well, we started. He was an invited speaker to our legislative conference last year, so March of 2019 or April of 2019. He came in and said, "What can I do for you all?" And that was one of the things we brought up. And he's previously, I think he was a realtor in Missouri, so he's got a real estate background, and he certainly understood what we were talking about. And so it took about a year for him, but they've got the bill now going forward. And as we've learned from our past call to actions, it makes, when they get, several hundred emails from people on the same issue, it registers with them. So one of the key things to remember is you may think you're just hitting a button and sending an email out and it never does anything. They count these and it comes into effect, and we've heard a lot of positive responses from our previous call to action. So make sure that you participate.
All right, good enough, Rocky. Thanks so much for doing the show today. And guys, again, that NAMB banner is right down below. Click on that to take action on this if you agree with it. If you agree that the consumer should have the right to opt in or opt out to this type of marketing, this trigger lead marketing. With that, do us a favor, if you're meeting us for the first time, subscribe for free in your upper right-hand corner. Again, start the conversation. Leave your comments down below, and we'll catch up with you guys later here at the NREP Daily on the National Real Estate Post. Thanks, Rocky.
Thank you, Frank.